This is a nice little cardboard project that's easy to make. It's a pencil holder in the shape of a castle keep. But even if you don't plan on making this actual project, you might want to watch the video because in it I'm going to give you 7 very useful tips and techniques for working with cardboard. So this video will help you to become a better crafter with cardboard. Greetings, it's Will from stormthecastle.com, and you are watching the Cardboard Da Vinci YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in. And I've got an easy cardboard project for you today. It is how to make a cardboard castle pencil holder. Easy project, fun and durable. And it's got 2 parts to it. The part where you can keep longer pencils and pens and stuff. And also this little bin here where you can keep your, shorter pencils, paper clips or whatever, erasers, anything like that. And there are 3 styles that I give you. See, this one's a what's this called? A Troubadour style castle, little flags. I also have a traditional Norman keep style castle. Can you see that? And a Gothic Cathedral style castle. So you can make one in any of the 3 styles you want. Or make all 3 if you like. But let me show you a couple of things here. We'll do the intro and then I'll come back. Okay, so welcome back. So I give you the template. It's on my website. You just download it. It's a PDF and you print it up. Quick instructions. And all the parts you need to make all 3, or either of the 3, style keeps. See that? And let me show you how easy it is to make. You just need 3 parts. A square of cardboard, right? 5.5 by 5.5. That's the base. And then this is for the keep, the actual pencil holder part. 4 inches by 10.5 inches. And you need this part that goes around here. Total's about 22 inches. We're going to say 24 inches by 1.5 inches. So you can cut one large piece or some smaller pieces just to make it all the way around. And let me see. So what you need in terms of tools and whatnot, you need something to cut cardboard with. It can be a hobby knife or some kind of a cardboard cutting knife. You need some adhesive, and it's pretty flexible as to what you can use for adhesive. Anything that'll adhere paper will be fine. PVA white glue, good. Or my Beacon 3-in-1. And for ease and speed, I used a hot glue gun. Now, one of the things about this project is, and I'll show you that, is when you're gluing paper, this is a good hobby tip for a cardboard tip for you. When you're gluing paper to cardboard, it can easily get wrinkled. And how you avoid that is by actually applying a white PVA glue with a paintbrush. You make a thin, even coat. Well, my brush is wet, but you make a thin, even coat and then apply the paper to it and run out any wrinkles and you'll come out wrinkle free. And one more tip is, if you want some strength to make this nice and strong and durable so it lasts, once it's all done, you coat everything inside, outside, the bottom, the whole thing with some Mod Podge. That will give it strength and some shine. If you don't have Mod Podge, what you do is you mix PVA glue about 50-50 with water, and then you brush that on. And that'll give you similar to a Mod Podge. It'll give you a nice solid, kind of like a shell. So I'll show you a few things. We'll go through this. I'll show you some of the highlights of how to make this cardboard castle pencil holder. So let's get going here. We start with our first piece of cardboard. It's just 5.5 by 5.5. That's the base. And here's another tip for you. Tip number 3. Use a metal straight edge when you're cutting long pieces of cardboard if you want those cuts nice and straight. Now, The real tip is don't use a plastic straight edge or a plastic ruler because it can grip, and the knife can slip off of the ruler and you might get cut. So use a metal straight edge for making beautiful straight cuts. So we got 2 pieces there, and these pieces here, and I wanted to show you tip number 4. The direction of the flutes on the cardboard makes a really big difference for some pieces, for a strength and durability and ease of making the project. So with that part, the wall that goes around the whole pencil box, we want the flutes to go vertical, up and down. So there we go, we glue it, and here we come up to tip number 5. Use an air gun, a can of compressed air, held upside down, because when you do that, it comes out at like freezing temperature, really, really cold, and it will almost instantly freeze your hot glue. It's a nice little tip. I like doing that. And see how it looks all frosty? It'll be fine. It's a little tiny bit wet, but it's fine. And our next tip number 5, to make beautiful crisp edges, you cut the top layer of paper on the cardboard, then use a blunt pencil, and then look at this. You can fold it beautifully. And that works on small pieces like this. It also works on very large pieces. Cut through the paper, and then run a blunt pencil or a ballpoint pen through that cut, and you'll gain a nice edge. So that's 5 tips so far. We got a couple more tips I think you might find useful. So go ahead and make that pencil box. Finish it off. You know, I recommended about 24 inches of this. See, let's do it again. Quick spur upside down. Hold that can upside down. But it really makes a big difference when you're assembling something to get it to hold really fast. You don't have to kind of like stand there holding the thing, waiting for the hot glue to dry. So now let's decorate it, and we're going to use our same technique with using a paintbrush for the glue. Another thing that really works pretty well is a spray adhesive. Can give you a good effect of getting the paper onto the cardboard without wrinkles, but you got to be careful because once you fix it, it stays. You can't move it around. But with a glue like this, when you've applied it with a brush, you can put your paper down on the cardboard, and then you kind of shift it around and move it around a little bit and make sure you work out any wrinkles. So go ahead and do that all the way around. The first wall of the castle keep. Castles often had concentric walls because the enemy who was sieging the castle had to get through one set of walls, and then they still had another set of walls they had to face. My website is stormthecastle.com, so you know I probably do have an affectation for castles, which I do. And I've visited many, many of them. I got lots of pictures and videos on my website if you're interested in castles. There we go. Looks really good. So now the keep. It's 4 inches by 10.5 inches is what this piece is. And we've separated it out to 4 sections that are 2.5 inches wide. And that last section, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, and 1/2 inch. And this brings us to our 7th tip. Making crisp corner, I call them welds. I don't know what to call these. But what you do is you cut only part way through, trying not to cut that bottom layer of paper. You remove the top layer of paper. And then you remove the fluting. A little pencil here sometimes often helps. Watch. Get that pencil in there and you can separate it. But we leave that little bottom layer of paper because that is our welding joint. So that's 7 useful tips for working with cardboard. I hope that helps. If you have any cardboard tips, let's go back to our previous tip. I'll show you again here. You cut through the top layer of paper, and you run a blunted pencil through it. And now you can fold it up and have beautiful corners, edges, corners. And now let's finish off that weld, putting it all together by applying some glue to it. And I don't recommend using hot glue because the hot glue is a little difficult to work with because that paper is thin and you'll feel the heat from the hot glue. With a liberal amount of glue applied, you can kind of fudge it around and move it around to get it until you get it just right. I should have removed that yellow sticker, but I guess it really doesn't matter that much. We're going to cover this up. So there we go. Isn't that beautiful? We have our tower, our keep, our keep. So not much more to go here. We use the same technique. Evenly brush on some glue, and then we can apply the paper to it. Another thing too, if you want to make sure you reduce the wrinkles or have no wrinkles, is if you have the option, print up on a thicker paper. Regular printer paper is more prone to wrinkling, whereas cardstock, maybe 90 pound or 110 pound, is actually less prone to wrinkling. So that's another little tip. So I'd call that a bonus 8th tip. But there we go. Our keep is just about done, and this one is the Norman keep. That's it. Oh, like I was going to say earlier, if you have cardboard working tips, leave me a comment. Shoot me an email. I'd love to add your tip to my channel here, and I'll give you credit in any way you see fit. So let's finish this all off with a tip that I had previously talked about, and that's to strengthen and seal with Mod Podge. And if you don't have Mod Podge, which I love, you can mix water and glue at about 50% and then paint that on. That will strengthen it, harden it, and preserve it. Thank you very much. Lots more coming. We're going to take one final look here at the finished product. Oh, and don't forget to do the bottom too. All of it. Inside the pencil holder and everything. So now let's take one last look at our finished product. I got lots more projects coming. Thanks for watching. I have a big focus on cardboard, but I also love working with paper. I've got paper games. I've got more paper games coming. I've got some Van Gogh stuff coming. I've got a cardboard jewelry box coming, which I think you might like. Give me a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber and you want to learn how to work better with cardboard, hit that subscribe button. Perché la minestra si fredda.